They'll be calling you a radical. This is a major, major fucking story, and I'm going to explain. I'm going to talk about fighting the beast. I mean, the beast. In our cemetery right here in Ogden, you travel through there, and there's so many markers that says, died from the beast. And a lot of people, I think, have forgot. They don't know what the beast is. The beast was the plague 1918. This is the new beast. Excuse me, there's a Freudian slip. He has lymphoma too. I mean, you think about this. This is the thumbprint. Really, is Lloyd Blankfein the thumbprint of this generation? Absolutely. This arrogant prick. Jamie Dimon, Steve Chinese Jobs. I was right there in that room, you know, being diagnosed. I was watching the interview with Eichson about Steve Chinese Jobs. When I got diagnosed, was given 2 months to live. In that corner room, looking up here at my place where I grew up right here. This is my spot. This is my place. And as you know, it was heartbreaking that day. Told me I'd be dead in 2 months, multiple doctors over and over and over. But I want people to very much understand the thumbprint. Look, Jobs, they try to cover it up, protect their shoulder. Even as rich as these arrogant pricks are, and never forget this. And I want to explain this about Lloyd Blankfein, this evil piece of fucking scum. Do I hope he dies from this? No. I would not wish that even on that creepy, evil, evil fucking piece of dog shit. Never forget, I was a derivative arbitrage specialist on Wall Street. You know, worked right out of here, right over there. Never forget this. As the credit defaults, I know the guy, I know plenty of people that work for Goldman Sachs. The evil. The guy that invented the credit default swap. I mean, I know this creepy monster. I want to talk about this. AIG is Goldman Sachs. AIG booked the bets. Yes, your insurance company, which you will pay $1 million in your lifetime and never get any back. The biggest shakedown in history is insurance. So, you know, the kickback rate was 96%. It's all the way down to 12. They just keep the fucking money. They're not going to pay you back anything. And all you insurance fuckers, you're all fucking rats, every last one of you. But this fucker, by the way, the New York Post has reported this today, and I'll be in New York on Halloween. I love fucking New York. Spent fucking so much of my life there. Whatever. Yeah, even though that creep fucking piece of dog shit, the evilest fucking rat that besides Blankfein that ever fucking lived, Rupert fucking House of Windsor puppet Murdoch, who should be fucking hung. Fucking even though that fucking rat. I love the New York Post, by the way. I was there winter 2010 doing my post-ignorance gig at Washington Square. I'll be back there. That's when this whole thing lead up started with me, as when the bomber, it was over Christmas, and on the front page of the New York Post, great balls of fire. Next day, fruit of the loom. They're fucking, the wit is incredible. I love, that's the first thing I do. Grab the paper, fucking grab my fucking piece of fucking pizza. Fucking, wow, I mean, there's so much to love about that place. So, I want to talk about this. To use the word cure, this is the arrogance of this creep. He has lymphoma. Now we know non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, different lymphoma. It's a brutal, evil disease. It's leukemia. Leukemia in the lymph node. That's what it is. It's the same thing. Lymphoma, light the night, be coming up 10-10. You know, you should come walk with me. I'll show you this incredible path. I knew the beast was in me. I knew my path. I diagnosed myself instantly. These guys, they come out and use the word cure over and over and over. I'm telling you, when you get your cancer, and so many of you are going to get it, and the statistical probability means nothing. I'm a stats guy. Means nothing. Now remember this, Blankfein, AIG was bailed out. Anybody should have been allowed to go broke. It was Sachs. You know, let's take the competition out. Fucking, you know, they let Lehman go down. They let Merrill Lynch go down. But these fucking rats got $50,000 for every man and woman and child. And I will do not forget this. Lloyd Blankfein made this comment in public in an interview saying that God told him to do all this. God told him to do all this. And I want to, you know, my videos are improv art. The one I did yesterday, maybe all 100% improv. I just reached in my pocket, signed the Hamilton 10 and went. The best improv piece that maybe I've ever fucking done on film was that yesterday, these paintings. That one I did yesterday. The last two that I did, I mean, improv, amazing pieces in so many ways. But this is the arrogance. One of my doctors ended up being one of Steve Jobs' doctors. He used to float teams in, hundreds of doctors, team after team after. His generational arrogance thought they could just say that this is the I mean, it's the thumbprint. So you got Jamie Dimon who's battling, he come out and declared himself cured. Now Tony Gwynn declared himself cured, same thing, lymph node. I was born the same day as Tony Gwynn. Tony Gwynn was brilliant, I loved him. He was the last true fucking, you know, athlete who gave a fuck about the sport and was not all in money. You know, go to New York, fucking go Yankees. But this creep, this is such a major story because he is the thumbprint. He's 61. That's when it hits you. You know, most of these guys get it in their early 60s. Jamie Dimon, do I wish he died? No, but I want to very much talk about this. Do never use the word cure. As they beat it back, and I've seen everybody that does say, oh, it declares themselves cured, Jamie. That's not how this fucking... Look, it's like fucking, you underestimate your opponent. You want to fight this motherfucker because cancer's the evilest fuck that ever fucking walked. And you fucking fight. And you fight and you go fucking total. But never ever do you underestimate your opponent. And your opponent, that fucking beast, oh, I knew. I fucking hike these fucking mountains every day. So vigilant, so intense. You can watch my activism over there. My fucking intense focus. I never rested for 1 second I want, because I know it just comes back and mows you down. You're up against the most evil force in fucking human history. It's called cancer. Fucking the nuclear industry, the cartel that fucking gives you. The cover-up of Fukushima, the very fucking people. This is the fucking face of evil. Jamie Dimon, now Lloyd Blankfein, fucking, you know, do they fucking deserve fucking to die? No, no one deserves that. Because, number one, you know, my guess, maybe they won't die from, because I've learned along the path. Cancer takes the good. They take the good, and I've learned, I mean, this is a hard path. You have to learn this. I mean, I was going in and out of a fucking coma in there for so long. My Fukushima fish hook in me, down to nothing. What a battle. Is the true fact of the matter is, they get it in Austria, they get it in Denmark, that Danish philosophy of medicine, but it's a purification process. And I believe it takes the good. I don't believe they lose their fight. He lost his, but no, I believe they win. My friends, I watched them. I was not good enough for him to take me. I wasn't ready for my place yet. I still had work to do. My place, you know, life a test, I believe so. You know, so I think it takes the good. I don't think it takes the evil. But, you know, I surely don't know any of these fucking answers, but I know you don't underestimate this fucking beast. And that's what it is. Lymphoma is an evil, man-made fucking... Sure, you can die in your 100 years old. That's what people should be living to, with heart transplants, bypass surgery, freaking all these stuff. I know a guy that got a double lung transplant. Think about that. I mean, all these people that are saved. My uncle right there, the great fucking surgeon, one of the guys who invented fucking bypass surgery at the Ogden Clinic, Dr. Blanch. What a genius he was. His mind dead, you know. Don't let him open you, Kevin, unless you're going to die, which I turned down the surgery. He saved me from the grave because I listened to what he said. I knew he was a genius. You know, never declare yourself cured until it's time. It takes a long time. I've never, you know, I said a video just the other day, maybe beat it, you know, but I never did that. You know, I knew that. Beat down in the path in the fucking fight. This is the arrogance of this fucking evil piece of fucking scum. The thumbprint of this fucking scumbag, but you hand it to him. Your free market fairy tales, you're fucking getting rid of Glass-Steagall, you're fucking stripping all of it, fucking let computers take over Wall Street, fucking let fucking outsourcing jobs to fucking China, all of it, fucking your fucking royal fucking shit. You know, watch my last video if you want to know everything about this whole fucking path. It's all right there. The beast is an evil motherfucker. Don't you dare, when you get your turn, lymphoma, fucking, and it really doesn't matter about how extreme. Look, when you're 100, these rogue cancer cells, free radicals they're called, will go loose, and that's the natural dying process. But not when you're 60, not when you're 50, not when you're 40, not when you're 14, not when you're 8. It's man-made. It's nuclear fucking fallout. And I go back to fucking Weissenmeister, you know, in Vienna. All roads lead to Vienna. I go back to him. As he says, wash your hands, many decades before Jonas Salk. Wash your hands, these invisible germs. He proved it. They still wouldn't listen to him. So this is history repeating itself. And so they wouldn't even listen to him, that he became this incredible radical activist. And he stood up in front of the fucking royal palaces and went crazy and went to the point where in Vienna they put him in a rubber room and threw him in the mental hospital and killed him 14 days later. And he was right the whole fucking time. These little invisible germs coming through, just like the beast of 19. I'll never forget this. I equate this so much to Fukushima. The cover-up of Fukushima. When the beast cut loose in that new place in San Francisco through this town right here, 1918. You know, all roads lead to Vienna. It was covered up by the fucking... Obama's the most arrogant fucking prick that ever walked. His mother dies of fucking cancer. That fucking evil, sick, fucking demented fucker. You know, fucking... I mean, all these fucking rats. Bush's fucking... It's so disgusting what we've turned into. No integrity of rats. You know, Mike Lee, his dad dies right here. Same fucking rats. Bring nuclear waste right here to the Energy Solutions. The 700. I'm the only one fight. Go all the way to Vienna. Fight. Fuck media blackball me here. When the people that blackballed it, when the populace found out that they blackballed it, the faces that were the writers that put their names on these things, oh, they hung them. Look it up. They hung them in the streets of San. Right here. Right here. They hung them. You people that are putting pen and paints or in the New York Times or whatever to fucking, this is nothing, never killed anybody, you're insane. I know for a fact there's over 8,000 workers been killed in the mob underneath fucking dying. It's all covered up fucking shit, the greatest cover up in human history. It's worse than the cover up in Chernobyl. In Chernobyl, the first data came out of 4.4 million. The guy didn't like the number, so he just moved the data. I fucking was in Vienna with the guys that used to work with the IAEA. I was with them. He says, fuck, we just make up the numbers. They don't like them, they just change them. They make us change the numbers. We do the work, they make us change the numbers. You know, do I hope Jamie Dimon and Lloyd Blankfein, the two evil, thumbprint, fucking scum, rat motherfuckers, die? No. I wouldn't wish that on my fucking worst enemy. That's called cancer karma. I'm not about to throw any more of that because I'll tell you what, I'd never underestimate this fucking beast. Fight him? Oh, fuck. If you haven't watched me fight and watch my survive, I mean, this type of disease that I had that fucking is so rare to survive at my age, he says it's posture and grooming for the shareholders because even the show, I mean, isn't it ironic? Even he ends up being a fucking puppet, you know, for his shell. Don't scare the shareholders. You know, Steve Chinese Jobs. All your money can another minute buy? Ask him. Ask Steve Chinese fucking arrogant fucking Jobs. You know, Tim Cook, that arrogant fucker. Doing business with fucking Chinese fucking slaves, oligarchy fucking slaves. A place that executes people for being gay. Huh. Come on, Tim Cook, you fuckers. You fuckers are all hypnotized, and I will leave it like this. I wrote this today to my friends at the Million Mask March, is because I'm going to rename half of it the Million Unmasked March. I don't wear my mask. I put mine on the back. We want the masked people. We want the unmasked. Join us in D.C. But this is about not lowering your voice. It's about right. We want everybody to hear their voice. We don't care if we agree with you. If you got a grievance, we want you to fucking let it out. We want you to be logical. We want you to be reasonable. But we want you to scream, yell, fucking rant. You got a grievance? Let's hear it. Show up in those fucking streets of fucking there. We love all of you. We want everybody's. We're about the First Amendment. This is America. No, this is the United States of America. You know, we need to take it back from these fucking rat fucking monsters, the Patriot Act, all of it. We want you to scream. You know, I call it the Million Unmasked Man March. Well, not man, woman, child. You know, we want you to wear the mask. No, you can wear it, you don't wear it. We want everybody in this fucking group. You know, I love Steve Grant. That new video he's done is fucking spectacular. John Anthony, all of you guys. You guys are fucking incredible. We want to hear your grievances. We got cameras. We got fucking video. RT will show up. Justin King, he's done great. He'll show up. He'll get you in the media. You know, scream. You got a grievance, you fucking let it out. Let the world know. They fucked you. We want to hear about your fucking story, how they fucked you. We want you to fucking let it out. So your voice not repressed. We want you to raise your voice. You know, so major stories happening. This fucking epic fucking time. The greatest catastrophe in human history, 11/11. The beast, the greatest cover-up. And all you print media that went along with this, you know, do I advocate hanging you? No. But I would understand if people that did. If I was standing there and watched the mobs grab you and fucking hang, would I come to your fucking aid? No. Fuck no. Let the fucking ages fucking speak for themselves. This is the greatest cover-up in human history. The new plague, cancer. You know, and these lying fuckers in your fucking lymphoma, you get it? Don't you dare underestimate this fucking, don't you dare use the word cure. Don't you fucking dare. Don't you throw that fucking karma, because he's going to laugh at you, cancer. And he's going to say, watch this motherfucker. Stand tuned. Major fucking times we live in. You don't understand my art form? Good, I don't care. Jackson, Paul, Pollock, you don't understand? I'll be in New York protesting right where he protested, like I do. And you're not going to frame me, none of you. You don't understand this art form? Watch the last video. You want to know this entire art form. It's new. I'm the first one to do it. You ain't framing me. I take that fucking mule. You can please some of the people some of the time. But In order to change culture, you have to lead that fucking mule to water. Then you have to fucking stomp his fucking head into the fucking trough and make him fucking drink. Because he's been hypnotized with fucking Kool-Aid and yellow cake through that fucking television. It's the only way he will see. Stomp his head in the fucking trough and make him drink. Then he'll say, oh, thank you. Thank goodness. I come out of my hypnotized fucking state of denial. Too comfortable, comfortably dumb. Only one known cure. One known cure for all this. One known cure. Post-ignorance. Stay tuned.